do what I say, man. You know, I see the ills we have with not supporting each other, but that doesn't mean that I have to not support.
I understand.
If you know me at any length of time, Mike, I support damn near anybody that's doing something good. I don't even have to know you.
So have you ever received an award before?
Yeah, you.
What'd you receive it for?
Community. I got it right here. Matter of fact, it's right here.
And exactly what you teach and what you preach has been community, and that's the reason I gave you the award. That award really stands for something special in my heart because if I know you and I've watched you, and I see how you live. Um, I've seen, I've heard a lot about your sons and all of those things. But what you do is what you just said you did at Soulfully Scented.
Right. In the other place, there, but you've seen firsthand, you know. But I have this. I'm gonna shout out the vague ringtone with this because it has an inscription on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Heroes are not born.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm cleaning it up right now.
So your energy of supporting black businesses and black entrepreneurs and people that are really making moves. What do you when you do that? Tell me how Tell me what's going on in your head. What you're thinking and why you're doing it.
Well, the thinking is this. The thinking is this, man. I'm blessed. Okay? I'm blessed with the ability and the heart to see what's going on and how to support what's going on. So I do it out of we're all one, really. And then I do it as I support people, right? Because it's the thing to do. And I know I always have support from the Lord. I always have support. So I don't worry about people's support. I just do what I'm supposed to do as a person. When I see something, I see somebody trying to do something and trying to make a living, trying to stay out the prisons, trying to stay out of drugs, trying to stay out the way, then I do what I can do.
How many other people uh, do the same thing you do, or at least close?
Justin is the only one I know.
Wow.
Well, you do too.
Okay.
You're in there. But I mean, as far as people I know close to me, my wife, Justin, people like yourself. But I can't really name a lot of them that give. Here's some people.
20 years down the line, 20 years down the line, if you're supporting your people, what would it show 20 years down the line?
It would just show my consistency. I don't know about everybody else.
Well, I mean, let's say if we had a billion people. Now, let's not say a billion. Let's say if we 100 million people that were thinking like that, that was of color.
Right.
Where do you think?
We dug ourselves out of an economic pit.
Say that again. Wait. Say that one more time. We dug ourselves out of an economic pit. I want y'all to hear that.
We're in the economic pit right now. Why? Because we're the biggest spenders, but we don't own shit. We buy everybody else's stuff and support every other group. But when you turn around, we don't own anything. Even like they're giving a big noise about that stuff they're doing on the west side. But at the end of the day, the city and the county own this shit. All that money they're putting in over there, bro, there's hardly no black ownership on that new stuff they're developing on D Street and all that. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay, but when the smoke clears, they don't have no ownership. It looks good, but you don't have no economic ownership. You don't have no equity. You don't have nothing to collateral for bigger moves. You don't have that. Why? You don't own it. looks good in your neighborhood. They've been doing that for years. That's how the projects came up. You know, you got a housing crisis, blah, blah. They started putting up all these projects. That's why they're called projects. They're governmental experimental projects. I was in them when I grew up in Seattle, Washington. So yeah, man, if we supported each other and didn't have that envy, see, you got that envy, jealousy, and hate, right? It's the root causes of why we treat each other like that, not counting all the conditioning we've had over the years to be pitted against each other. They even had government programs to do this, COINTELPRO and a lot of other ones, that was purposely created to keep us divided. Purposely created by the government. You know, welfare and all that, purposely to break up the family. Purposely. They're pushing all these gay agendas and all that, that breaks up the family. They're pushing abortion and all that. It's the #1 killer in the black community. Come on now. Come on now. Let's talk.
Well, we doing it. I'm right now. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm listening to you.
You didn't go live? No, but hey, bro, these conversations, see, we get the watered down versions, Mike. When a lot of these dudes, these politicians, they get up there and get to speaking, even some of the preachers and all that, they don't give it to us like this. They don't give it to us like this. They don't go back to the root causes. You know what I'm saying? And all this stuff about the indentured servants, you know.
So let me ask you this: in the hip hop world,
right?
What would that do that we just talked about digging us out of this ditch? What would that do in the hip hop community? Would that kill the hip hop community, or would that flourish?
No, it would enhance and build up the hip hop community. Because here's the thing about hip hop: it's very much misunderstood now today. People confuse gangster rap and all this stuff with hip hop. That is not hip hop. Sorry to tell you, it's not. You know, when NWA and all them came out with all the gangster rap and all that, that kind of like
I'm here broadcasting here in California.
Hip hop was, but rap is only one element of hip hop. And see, that's the confusion. That's the misunderstanding about hip hop. They want to associate it with a negative form of rap when it has nothing to do with that.
So rap and hip hop is different, but you know,
it's totally different.
One of the things that culture, but all of it's culture. You can't deny one of the culture from the other. It's just that's that culture. You may not want to be a part of that culture. When you in that rap culture, it's really dangerous because it's so many people that then got killed. There's so many people that got injured, shot, went to jail. In that, it's just like regular life and the same thing. They may have a couple of domestic violence, but nothing major.
But when I say culture, hip hop is you're from a lot of different cultures, but the #1 was the so-called blacks out there. When they cut the money, they had to find something to do, so they found that. That's one of the elements that birthed hip hop as we know it. But when I say culture, I mean all the elements. One element. Okay? Now gangster rap can be its own culture in itself. But when you talk about hip hop, you're talking about all the 5 elements: the human beatbox, the DJ, the MC, the graffiti artist, the dancers, and you even, if you want to add a 6th one, it's all about building and inspiring and gaining knowledge and using it. That's how I grew up with hip hop. You see what I'm saying? With Sugar Hill Gang, Curtis Blow, you know, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious, Soul Sonic Force, Stetsasonic. I grew up with that. Eric B. Rakim, Run DMC. That was my era, and they displayed the culture. Even when I went to see Rakim at the House of Blues.
Mm-hmm.
They showed you what real hip because they had all the elements on the stage. They had the dude doing the drawing, the painting.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dude doing the painting. There was a dude that came out and did the human beatbox. They had the little dancers up there. Now, granted, Rakim show.
Okay.
So, of course, Eric B was up there on the DJing, but they had all the elements on the stage. And, of course, Flavor Flav was up there with a blunt in one hand, a beer in another one, and a camera taking selfies on the stage. What's his name? Keith Washington. What's his name? Keith Washington. We was all in the back at Rakim's special room. So, I got to meet him. But what I'm saying is, had all the elements that I grew up with. Remember the break dancing?
Mm-hmm.
You used to have cardboard, bro. My little son and them,
Mm-hmm.
they used to have their cardboard. Right? And
Right.
they go and they see somebody, man, they put their cardboard and their beatbox, their boom box down, put the music on, and that was their aggression. That's how that's how they dealt with it. Wasn't no guns and all that stuff, man. They had breakdance battles.
Right.
But to answer your question, man, hip hop, the real form of hip hop, it is making a lot of headway, or is bringing a lot of positivity to communities. One in particular, Bronx, New York. There's a guy I know named Al Pizarro. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He started Hip Hop Boulevard. He has the only Hip Hop Boulevard in the world. And he is out there with the hip hop culture, showing what can be done with hip hop. And this gave him $2 million yesterday.
Did they?
For the Universal. Yeah, I posted a picture with Al, the little Italian dude with the check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the Universal Hip Hop Museum. See,
I think I seen that.
Yeah, Al went and got Cedric Avenue changed to Hip Hop Boulevard. Because that's where they had the first back to school party, right? With DJ Kool Herc and Coppola Rock. On that street was monumental to one of the birthplaces of hip hop, right?
Right.
So he got that named Hip Hop Boulevard. He's the CEO of Hip Hop Boulevard. And so now they're making big moves, bro. Vegas is out there now. So he did a song with the first MC, Coppola Rock, called Poker Kings. And it's streaming now. It's doing good. But Little Red Vegas did it with one of the pioneers. And he's out there right now doing shows.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Little Red Vegas. Remember he was a little kid? 6 years old when I met him. Now he's like 13. He's doing his thing. But hip-hop is really can be a real key factor to giving some positive influences and positive mentors to youngsters. You know, because the real form of hip hop is, like I said, it's cultural, it's knowledge, it's understanding, it's building community. It's all those things. It's a real hip hop. You take gangster rap and all these other little byproducts of hip hop and the damage it's doing. You know, you got to try to balance it out with, you know, bringing the real form and the real understanding of hip hop. Because, like, a lot of people don't even understand hip hop, bro.
So what is hip hop? And so, like, who would be the dictionary for the hip hop? Like, who would know all of this information, and who wrote this information for it to be real hip hop?
Well, it's a history. It's a history. Like I said, they cut the money and funding for arts education, like, you know, bands in school, arts, you know, dance classes and all. They cut that in New York, right? And so these kids went out and they started doing block parties. They started putting their speakers out their window, and you know, they started doing something, you know, trying to fill that gap of what they should do. So the story, but it was a positive. It was a positive thing in the beginning. It still is, but it started out positive, and it still is today. But certain elements of it and certain factors other direction. I tell you, I know one of the turning points is when NWA came out. I remember that plain as day. When that came out, when NWA came out with F the Police and Dope Man, and all this other stuff, and cussing and being, obnoxious on the thing, they were talking about life, though. Don't get me wrong. They were talking about life, police brutality, what life is in the hood and all that other stuff, right? They were talking about that. But the other elements they were bringing was one of the turning points in people misunderstanding hip-hop versus rap. There's a big difference.
It became a major battle. It became a huge battle, and the battle that it became, it was like almost unstoppable for, it was like unstoppable pretty much, because it became a major battle, and then it became violent, and it became rough. It became extremely rough, and then it became influential. And when it became influential, most people are so simple-minded that anything influenced them, and they lived that whole thing down, and they act it out. They do it on a regular. they out, and they I mean, it's their whole energy to spread and push this agenda to be disrespectful or wrong. But most of the stuff that, not even most of the stuff, everything, it's all true, and it happens, and it needed to be broadcasted. But the way people took it wasn't to heal, it was more to put more gas in the fire, and it was really actually to be able to heal the community when people were pouring out their hearts about, their mama smoking crack, or they pouring out their hearts that, their dad, been in prison all their life, So it was, but the listeners, and you got so many listeners, it was just difficult for these folks to really focus on their regular life on a day-to-day basis without getting influenced and injected. I remember Ice Cube came out with Lethal Injection, and when he came out with Lethal Injection, uh, on the cover, it was like they was injecting into the ears, into the body on the cover. If you remember what the cover looked like.
Right, I remember.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Mike. Watch this. You ready? Everything you've named just now is government funded. It's the record companies and the government and all them, they're pushing that agenda that we have with the destructive content of these so-called rappers out here. They're pushing that. And then talking about prison, the government, we have the most black people in prison in the whole world, bro. And we are the less population in the United States, but we have more of a percentage of black people in prison. That's not by mistake. That's by design. So we have to put the blame really where it lies. Because I told you about the governmental agencies they had early, COINTELPRO, and a lot of these other anti-civil rights, anti-black movements, right? And then on top of that, bro, you got them destroying the nuclear family. With, hey, I don't have nothing against gay people. My brother Dwayne, he's gay, right? But hey, man, when you push that agenda, what you do is you destroy the family unity, the family unit. You destroy that. On top of that, the government is pushing abortion. That's the number one killer in the black community. The number one, bro. Add up everything. Abortion tops everything. And they're pushing this in our community. They're pushing the destruction of the family, the killing of our babies, the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not, when you look at the bigger picture, it's not really exclusively true black people, as far as this population reduction and this genocide, it's becoming a global matter now. If you ever know, do you know about the Georgia Guidestones?
The what?
The Georgia Guidestones?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay, they had the Georgia Guidestones. It had that they had to reduce the population to what? So many millions of people. Now you remember, we have 8 billion people on the planet, and this was an actual monument, bro. You can look it up. Georgia Guidestones. It had the population reduction that they planned for this globe. They tore that down, bro. Right before COVID ended, but it became a big thing during COVID. The Georgia Guidestones. Why? Because people were talking about population control, what they're doing with this pandemic and all these vaccines and all this stuff, right? So it came to the forefront, the Georgia Guidestones, right? The message they had on the Georgia Guidestones was like in lockstep with what they're doing, right? The population. But anyway, they tore that down. So when you look up Georgia Guidestones, you can probably look it up now. But, so like, we're up against so many entities just to survive. There's just so much out there, so much different hidden agendas. And giving them way more time, giving them the death penalty. Look, black people have the most death penalty, the most time on their sentences, and everything. And they're of the prison, and they're not even most population in the United States. So this is all government design, bro. The only way out of it is to be who you're gonna be and do what you can to not follow that agenda.
Well, one of the things was, child support, taking kids out of the household, housing, taking fathers out of the house and can't come around, which gave the women more power to be more ignorant of not knowing exactly what was going on and why this was happening. But it definitely took a toll, and right now we feel an effect. And if you are black, and you are living great and fantastic and your life is fabulous, there's a lot of other people that's not.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that's not.
Oh, I know that, and you know that. That's why, bro, I don't even, like, some of my goals, my goal is not to be rich, bro. My goal is to be of service. You know what I'm saying? I don't even drive a new car. I could. My wife drives a new car. I don't.
You see what I drive every day?
Huh?
You see what I drive every day?
Yeah. My whole thinking is life is bigger than trying to impress somebody or trying to be somebody I'm not, and following agendas that I don't believe in. My life is bigger than that. So I'm not even driven by money, bro. I'm not. If I had $1 million right now, I'd try to figure out who I can help with. That's honest. I of course help myself, but how can I help somebody else at the same time?
Right.
Because the thing, Mike, true religion, I don't really believe in organized religion, but true religion is in the Bible. It says true religion is to help the widows and the orphans. In other words, today, that translates into being of service in your community. Right? That's true religion. To get out of yourself so you can do more outside of yourself. That's what true religion is all about. So that's how I live. That's how my wife lived. We really focus on how much we can help other people. Like my granddaughter, she just called us yesterday or the day before, right? And, I got this idea for a business and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, write it down like a little business plan. So we gave her a little format. And so, yesterday she sent us the business plan. You see what I'm saying? So,
there's different steps to take. Yeah, see what
I'm saying? So, but I'm able to be in a position to help her see that dream. It ain't about me. does. She got a goal. She wants to start a business, and she's got a plan because we made sure, hey, you got to write that down. You know, what's it gonna cost? How much you gonna make? How much your profit's gonna be? You know, who's your demographic out there where you're at? Because he's in Idaho, right? Who are you gonna sell this to? You know, what's your target? So she wrote it all down, and I made her a logo, right? Just as soon as she told me what she wanted, you know, I made her a logo, and now, you know, my wife's gonna order the stuff for her today. But it's being able to have the heart to do that, bro. Have the mindset to do that. To keep the
Yo, we on the Vague Show. Thanks for following and tuning in. Make sure you click subscribe. Make sure you contact us by dialing 702-960-96. You want advertisement? We're here. Call the Vague. We're on that show.
See what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll give you an example, bro. When I was in the joint and I had 2 life savings and 50, but he was instilling some values in me about prioritizing my life. I'll never forget it. It's
See, one of the things with me,
plans to get out of here.
one of the things with me, you know, I grew up in a family of, at the time it was 5, but it became 6, 15 years later. So when I was 15, I was pretty much in and out the house and everything. But my little sister was born, so she became the youngest. And in our household, my mother and father lived in the house, you know, and I was raised with my mother and my father. So my daddy taught me a lot of value, you know, how to be right. My dad had coached everybody over in North Las Vegas, won championships, you know, at 15 years, and those type of things over at the North Las Vegas Rec. So I was one of those ones that was fortunate to be able to see what it was like to have a parent and, you know, both parents in the house, which was really cool. And then father really does and what he's for, and not just somebody just sleeping in the bed waking up every morning. But knowledge is very much powerful, and it's given to influence people to do, and you're able to hold on to values that you were taught that were great, such as if you see somebody that's in need and you have something that you could help them with onto it, and you shouldn't say, oh well, you know, I don't care about that person or something like that, because that little spark spark a major spark plug and can grow now. And that's kind of what we want to keep it. We want to get rid of all of the fake stuff and bring in the real stuff. All of that fake stuff that's been going on, that's been in the world, that's not been true. We really want to change time that's coming behind us. We want to at least see that, because we do have kids and grandkids and generations, and there's so many mixed couples right now that there's a lot. It's gonna be so weird. We won't be here to see it, but we could only imagine, because we don't even know what that's like. So we can imagine what we want to see. Right. Yeah, man.
Don't or act like they don't care or whatever. Is that a lot of them don't have a spiritual foundation. I don't care what it is: Islam, Christianity, Buddhism. What you got? Selfishness. So when you have selfishness, you have destruction. In any way you look at it, in destruction socially, you know, physically, mentally, and all that. But that's the reason, Mike, I feel like that. So we're rare people, bro.
Absolutely.
In this scheme of things, we're rare people. We're gonna see what we need to see if we keep doing what we do. Worry about everybody else.
So let's give a shout out to the Vague Ringtone. Always keep a piece of Vegas with you. You know what I mean?
Always keep a piece of Vegas with you, man. And go ahead and broadcast this, and you know, let the world know about the Vague Ringtone, and just about family values, about community building. All right, bro.
Okay, listen, we'll talk, and I appreciate the call back.
Yeah.
I appreciate the call back for the show. We on the show, the Vague. Always stay on top. That's my rock. And we out.